His name has been on everyone's lips since he pulled on the Manchester City shirt this summer, bringing all the Scandinavian coolness back to England. Yes, you guessed it right, because no one else can compete with this fabulous Viking giant named Erling Haaland. Okay, you know his incredible soccer talent, but did you know that before becoming famous, Haaland was a rapper? And that he broke a world record when he was only 5 years old? We have dozens of amazing things to tell you about Haaland. So, make yourself comfortable, because today we're going to reveal 99 things you might not know about Erling Haaland. So just watch the video all the way through, and I promise you that by the end of it, you'll know more about him than his own mom. Let's go, let's start! Although we all know him as Erling Haaland, the real birth name of the footballer is Erling Braut Haaland. The player will officially change the spelling of his surname at the Norwegian civil status, writing Haaland with a double A after the H. Despite the fact that he has Norwegian nationality, Erling Haaland was born on July the 21st, 2000 in Leeds, West Yorkshire, England. It was not until 2004, when he was 3 years old, that he moved to Bern, his parents' hometown in Norway. Of course, the fact that he was born in the United Kingdom gives him the de facto right to British citizenship, which he has today. With a height of 1.97 meters for a little more than 88 kilos, Erling Haaland deserves well and truly his nickname of Nordic Giant. His father, Alfie Haaland, was a former professional footballer who played as a defender and played for 5 major clubs, including Leeds United and Manchester City. The mother of the Scandinavian giant is called Gry Marita Braut, and she was a great Norwegian champion of heptathlon in the 1990s. Erling Haaland grew up and spent most of his childhood in Bern, a small, picturesque town in Rogaland County, Norway. At the age of 5, he started training for soccer at the local club Bern FK, and 10 years later, he played his first games for the reserve team. During the 2015-2016 season with Bern FK, Erling Haaland was able to impress everyone by managing to score 18 goals in just 14 games. It was on February the 1st, 2017 that the Scandinavian giant would sign a contract with the Norwegian club Molde FK. He was then 17 years old, and his reputation as a goal machine was already being established. August the 19th, 2018 is a very important day for Erling Haaland, as it is on this date that he will announce his transfer to the prestigious Austrian club Red Bull Salzburg. Nevertheless, the Norwegian player will have to wait until the 1st of January 2019 for his contract to take effect officially. The Red Bull Salzburg had to pay a little less than 5 million euros to make Haaland play for them, but the Austrian club will ask 20 million euros for his transfer to Borussia Dortmund, which means as a surplus value of 15 million euros. When he left Red Bull Salzburg at the end of 2019, Erling Haaland was voted Austria's Player of the Year, and he will have scored 29 goals in 27 games, not counting the 5 assists he was the author of. It is on December the 29th, 2019 that the Norwegian giant will make officially his transfer to the German club Borussia Dortmund, thus getting acquainted for the first time in his life with the Bundesliga. In his first game for Borussia, on January the 18th, 2020, Erling Haaland will score a hat-trick in the space of 23 minutes against FC Augsburg. The German championship would soon get used to the Norwegian's hat-tricks, as he would score another one against FC Köln only a few days after his famous hat-trick against FC Augsburg. For his phenomenal goal-scoring skills in the Bundesliga, Erling Haaland will be voted Player of the Month and Rookie of the Month for January 2020. On February the 1st, 2020, the Viking giant will make Bundesliga history by scoring twice against Union Berlin. With these 2 goals, Haaland became the first player to score a total of 7 goals in only 3 games for Borussia Dortmund. He also became the only player in the history of the Bundesliga to have scored in his first 7 shots on target. In total, the Norwegian giant scored 86 goals in 89 games for Borussia Dortmund, not counting the 19 assists he provided. Erling Haaland literally idolizes Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Cristiano Ronaldo, although there are other great players from whom he draws his daily inspirations, such as Michu, Jamie Vardy, Sergio Aguero, as well as Robin van Persie. Very few defenders dare to rub shoulders with the Viking giant, but there are two who have managed to give him a hard time. Erling Haaland himself says that Virgil van Dijk and Sergio Ramos are the toughest defenders he has ever played against. Erling's cousin Jonathan Braut Bruns is also a professional footballer and plays as a striker for the Norwegian club Strømgodset. Erling Haaland also has another cousin who is a professional footballer, Albert Braut Haaland, and who plays as a striker for the Norwegian club Molde FK. Erling Haaland's father was a footballer, so he got the soccer bug from a young age, but that didn't stop him from trying his hand at various other sports, including handball, golf, and athletics. Moreover, the child prodigy of Norway even managed the feat of breaking a world record in 2006 for the standing long jump when he was only 5 years old, and with a distance of 1.63 meters. Erling Haaland is very famous for his numerous hat tricks, so much so that he never went to bed without his 5 favorite balls, with which he scored 3 times in a row during the same game. When he was still living in Norway, long before he joined Red Bull Salzburg in Austria, Erling Haaland was a rapper who was even part of a group called the Flow Kings. Which also included his former Norwegian teammates Erik Tobias Sandberg and Erik Botheim. The group, Flow Kings, also has a channel on YouTube that has a little over 52,000 subscribers. Their clip entitled Kygo Joe, and whose video was uploaded on August 30th, 2016, now has more than 9 million views. The Scandinavian giant often wears blue lens protective glasses in the evening to protect his eyes from the harmful light of electronic devices. Erling Haaland is currently worth 150 million euros on the transfer market, a value that has almost doubled within 2 years, since the Nordic giant was still worth 80 million euros in March 2020. According to the very serious website transfermarket.fr, Erling Haaland is ranked as the second best soccer player in the world, just behind the French Kylian Mbappé and before the Brazilian Vinicius Jr. Still, according to this renowned website, the Norwegian giant is the second best center forward in the world. Again, just behind Mbappé and before the Englishman Harry Kane. Erling Haaland has set the Champions League anthem as an alarm on his smartphone, so that he wakes up every day as fresh as a roach. To de-stress between games and to relieve the pressure, there's nothing like meditation. And Erling Haaland is a fervent practitioner of it. He pays tribute to his passion by celebrating his goals with a yoga posture. The Nordic giant is also a big fan of high-powered cars, and his favorite car is an Audi RS6 that hides a roaring V8 engine under its hood. The Roadster develops a phenomenal power of more than 600 horsepower, which allows it to go from 0 to 100 km per hour in just under 3.6 seconds. Erling Haaland is also very fond of beautiful luxury watches, and he usually shows off with the most beautiful models on his wrist. The latest one is a watch from the prestigious Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Double Balance brand, worth more than 120,000 euros. Our gentle giant Viking definitely has a soft spot for Swiss watchmakers, as he also owns a Hublot Spirit of Big Bang King Gold, a sublime watch with a case and a bezel in 18-karat pink gold and a sapphire dial. Erling Haaland is currently earning just over 985,000 euros per week, making him Manchester City's highest paid player, with a salary that would approach 50 million euros per year. Having grown up and spent most of his childhood in the small country village of Bern, Erling Haaland has developed a love for the land and animals. The blonde giant has said that once he retires, he will buy a farm and start raising sheep and cattle. Erling Haaland is one of the biggest fans of Spanish striker Miguel Perez Cuesta, known as Michu. So much so that he called himself Michu Vieto 9 on Instagram to pay tribute to him. Leaving Borussia Dortmund, the gentle blonde giant managed to give a last gift to his teammates as well as to the staff of the Yellow and Black. And it is not just any gift, since Haaland offered them a Rolex Submariner watch personalized to each of them, and whose total cost would exceed 500,000 euros. When he was still playing for the Red Bull Salzburg, Erling Haaland was supervised 15 times by the scouts of Barcelona, but he was rejected each time because Barca considered that the player lacked technical skills. They must be biting their fingers now. Although he currently plays for Manchester City, Erling Haaland is a big fan of Leeds United. The Norwegian giant even declared that he wanted to win the Premier League with his mythical club. When he was still playing for the Yellow and Black team in the Bundesliga, the German fans got used to the double, triple, and quadruple goals of the Norwegian player. Nobody will forget his fabulous quadruple against Hertha Berlin, which he scored in just over 30 minutes. Manchester City had to pay no less than 75 million euros to bring Haaland into the fold. The transfer of the blonde giant to Manchester City was made official on June 13, 2022, which is an incredible coincidence since his father, Erling Haaland, also joined the mythical English club on June 13, 2000. The Norwegian Colossus has acquired many nicknames throughout his young career, but the latest one was given to him by his new Manchester City teammates. Erling Haaland is indeed called Demon in the locker room, in reference to Daemon Targaryen, the new hero of the Game of Thrones prequel series, House of Dragons. Although we don't really know the true amount of Erling Haaland's fortune, some financial experts believe that the Nordic giant will be worth a little over 500 million euros, a fortune that will certainly make him one of the richest sportsmen on the planet. On March 9, 2021, Erling Haaland became the youngest player to reach 20 goals in the Champions League during a match between Borussia Dortmund and Sevilla FC. This record is all the more remarkable as it was achieved in only 14 games. On August 26, 2021, the Norwegian giant is ranked as the best striker of the 2020-2021 Champions League season. When he arrived at Manchester City, the blonde colossus was already able to establish feats that the English Premier League had never known. Haaland scored no less than 2 hat-tricks in his first 5 games, one against Crystal Palace on August 27, 2022, and another against Nottingham Forest 4 days later. On September 6th, the blonde giant made history again, becoming the first player in the history of soccer to score a total of 25 goals in only 20 Champions League games. Erling Haaland, who is used to breaking the craziest records, became the fastest player to score 3 hat-tricks in the history of the Premier League, a feat all the more impressive as it was achieved in only 8 games, while his predecessor Michael Owen had beaten the record in 48 games. Now, tell us in the comments what you think about the inimitable and very recognizable Nordic giant Erling Haaland and his meteoric rise to the top of world soccer. Don't forget to subscribe and click here to watch another of our videos.